So, dear Dharma friends, and it is Vesak full moon day today. It is good time for us to reflect ourselves and remind what the Buddha mentioned, and as his last word, Appamadena sampadeta. So don't be late to cultivate your profitable skills. Don't be late to take out all your unprofitable skills. Don't be late to work towards the salvation or the liberation or the Nibbana. Why? Because this body is belong to time. It is not belong to us. The moment by moment, second by second, this body go away from us. And you have set up appointment in the future to go to cemetery. And it will happen somehow. And no one can stop that. So before that appointment going to be validate for you, going to call you. So yourself, you have a mission, you have a journey to fulfill. So that fulfillment is within your inner development, nothing with this outside world. So then every day take some time, focus yourself. And for that, it's like one of the thing is learn to be little bit calm down yourself and have some time yourself, and as a habit learn to develop it. So practicing meditation like this is important, and at the same time in day-to-day life. So yourself, you have to develop this separation method. So as you know, for physical, when you work out like 45 minutes, it is enough. Mostly it is enough for 24 hours. So same like when you develop a good samadhi, when you develop good tranquility state every day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So if you can go for 1 hour, that is averagely that is good. But sometimes everyone cannot do that. But somehow if you start to do that, and you will see the result within yourself, how that clarity develop inside you. Why? Because always with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, we always bringing things to inside us, knowingly or unknowingly. Always it's the information pouring to inside us, which is mostly unnecessary information for us. And we use cell phones, we use internet, we use YouTube, we use this all the media, that everything, even just not the very limited information, everything nowadays pouring to our head. So then you have to be more careful than any other time. The very important thing today with this Vesak day, remember yourself, have an agenda yourself, personally, to develop your spirituality, cultivate your spirituality. Have an agenda. If you don't have an agenda, you know what will happen? Someone else's agenda going to overtake your life. So then remember, once you have an agenda yourself, once you have a purpose yourself, once you have a spiritual journey yourself, someone else not going to overtake it. Otherwise it naturally happen. So then always look yourself and be careful yourself and watch yourself every day. What is the spiritual purpose, where your life won't end? So be with it and work for that. So have an agenda, and otherwise someone else agenda going to take your life. So that is the first lesson. Another one is learn to be separate. When you become separate, you become powerful, you become strong. So for that I bring you an analogy with the milk and the water. When you take 2 glasses, pour the milk to one glass and pour the water to another glass, and then you take another third glass and put the milk and the water both from these two glasses, and you will see it mix very easily, no resistance, and you even don't see any difference. So our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, always this connecting, mixing with this outside world. That is that journey itself called samsara. So your subject and the object, this both, and is moving like a circle, and your consciousness deeper, your awareness arise because of the information, and information arise because of the awareness. So it's like that. Once it becomes a circle, and we cannot recognize what is the end, what is the beginning. So that is what happening to us. So then what you have to do? Start to find a moment to be separate. So if I go back to the milk and the water. So once you put the milk to the water, it mix. You cannot find the separation. But how about you separate, you slowly start to separate water from milk, and then in the first level you get the yogurt, and again you separate that yogurt and the water from that milk, then you create the butter. Once the completely 100% water take out from the milk, it become butter. And if you take the butter and put it to the water, it never going to mix. It doesn't matter how powerful the water, the butter going to be on the surface level. So same like when you how strong you can be separate from this outside world, and how much you can get into the tranquility state and stay solid little bit yourself, and without getting disturbed. This separation mean not just closing your eyes yourself, you hiding somehow, you go to closet and you shut down everything. You go to your room and lock your room and stay silent. That is not being separation. The separation means you have a moment without getting disturbed from life. You not get disturbed from outside world. Even just imagine 100 people around you, and even at home, children and somebody watching TV, and somebody cooking, and somebody talking over the phone, and it's kind of like a huge the carnival. So in the middle of that, how you can be separate? It doesn't matter whatever the other people do. Of course they have to do things, because you practicing meditation, you want to observe the silence. Why other people need to be silent like that? No, they have to follow their things. But yourself, once you able to decide not to get disturbed out of others, that is the real silence. That is the real separation. Otherwise, don't misunderstand. Being separation means you stay away physically from somebody else or something else. No. You develop a method not to get disturbed from the outside world. And once you become like that, you become like the butter. The water cannot take you down. So once you have that, your mind become more sharp and clear. You don't get disturbed from out of the other information. Look at the world nowadays, what is happening. A lot of people have the fear, anxiety, depression because of the information they get, not the disease they have. No, the information can disturb you. So then yourself, remember, if you don't get disturbed from out of the information, you have the peace, calmness and tranquility state. So that is the second step. The very first step, you have to have an agenda yourself. You have to have a plan yourself. You have to have a schedule yourself. You can apply it to your physical life or your spiritual life. The second thing is learn to be separate. That means develop a method not to get disturbed from outside. Remember the analogy, water and the milk. So once the milk the water take out from the milk, it become butter. Once it become a butter, the water cannot mix it. So the third one, don't be late. That is the Buddha's last word. Appamadena sampadeta. Don't be late. So whatever we do, that is the important. Why? Because this late can take you away from the life. One second, that as I mentioned from the beginning, you have an appointment to your death in the future. It will arise at any time. And someone, this is the last night. And for some people, tomorrow is the last morning they're going to experience. So it can be me or you. So, but anyhow, if you are able to recognize in this very moment what is the most important thing for you, what is the most profitable thing for you, and go for it and finish it. And that way you develop a life to stay with always the most profitable things in the moment. So there was the bee has a nature, these honeybees, and sometimes they can fly far away, and at the same time they have a nature to be late. So that's why most of bees dies. And when the bee go to lotus flower, that is where most of the bees end the life, and they are not going to way back. Why? Because when the bee goes to the lotus and it start to enjoy suck all the honey from it, and while it enjoying, what is happening? The sun start to go down. When the sun go down, what is happening? Lotus start to close little by little. What the bees think? Little bit more, and then keep the sun go down and the lotus keep closing, little bit more. And have you seen sometimes, and when you watch movies, when they go for a plan, and sometimes when the greediness arise, and one person say, let's take little bit more, that ruins the complete plan. Sometimes I have seen that. When I see that situation, I remember this story about the honeybee, how they get trapped in lotus. And it happened to same within ourselves. It is natural. That's why you see most of time in movies, people have a plan and they go it, and while that it is already almost successful, and somebody start to become late, and then everything finish. It happened to you also. And that's why 2500 years ago, 564 years ago, the Buddha, same like today, and the remind to entire humanity, if you look for your freedom, if you look for your salvation, if you look for your understanding, if you look for your liberation, and remember one thing, don't be late to do the right things. Maybe it is in front of you, you see this is the right things to do in this moment, do it. Why? Because otherwise sometimes the very next moment going to take you out of the situation, and you will never see the truth in your life anymore. You will never see that path anymore. You will never see that door to work toward your freedom. You will never catch it back. And this is sansaric journey, and keep happening. So even though you enjoy this world, nothing wrong with that. But remember, when the necessary moment comes, let it go. And don't trap like the honeybee inside the lotus. Everything good, but when the sun go down, naturally it close, it get trapped, and by the morning it died. So ourselves, in day-to-day life, you always remember that whatever you do, and move forward, never get stuck. Whatever situation comes, whatever you have to let go, just move forward. Otherwise sometimes it's going to be your last moment. Why? In real life you don't get a second chance. Remember that. It is a myth. It's a kind of like a secret key, an art of war, and it always saying you don't get a second chance in life. In philosophy, in spirituality, the same. That's why when you become accurate, when you become sharp, when you become clear with the moment, you don't look for another second moment. You give your best and you get the best out of it, and you put your maximum effort. You done it. So that's how you have to develop inside you. So that is the third quality you have to develop. Don't be late. So the first quality, as I remind you, that from the beginning to now, have an agenda yourself and learn to be separate. That's mean don't get disturbed from outside. And the third one, don't be late. It doesn't matter whatever situation come, you enjoy your lives, nothing wrong with, but learn to keep moving. The fourth quality you have to remember, when we look at the Buddha's life, when we remind his teachings like today, he never saw a king or beggar. He never saw a queen or a beggar. He never saw a rich person or poor person. He never saw bad person or good person. Remember, he just saw only human heart. Have yourself to see a human in front of you. Don't see your wife. Don't see your husband. Don't see your child. Don't see your parents. Don't see your brothers, sisters. Don't see your friends. Just learn to see a human. You will see it is so beautiful than your husband, wife, children, your parents, or whatever the identity you put on them. So that is where you come out of your illusion and develop the connection. That connection itself will uplift you to become a more better person. So with that, I wish upon everyone, with this good practice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. May everyone stay healthy and safe, and finally may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava ettavata ca ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idam me punya kammang ආසවක්කයා වං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුංචතු. Bless you.